Episode number 215. Are these comics going to make good film and television shows? We got Absolute Wonder Woman number 5 and Green Lantern number 20. Let's check them out right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're going to chat about these comics right now, but before we do, remember to give that like, give me that subscribe if you can. I'm trying to grow the channel out, so get notified about when I do movies and television shows and comic book reviews. And plus, we are in our final, not even 24 hours. At this point in time, it's 18 hours when I'm recording this. By the time I edit this and everything else, I'll probably will be down to like maybe 5-6 hours before the campaign ends for Green Hornet 90th anniversary anthology hardcover book with stories by Timothy Zahn, who created Thrawn for Star Wars, Kevin J. Anderson, who writes books about Dune, among a pile of others. He's very prolific. He does a lot of sci-fi and fantasy, and of course Green Hornet in this case. Bill Willingham is also part of that. Cover art by Matt Wagner, who did Grendel and Batman. Dennis Calero from Marvel Noir did another cover that we just unlocked, and we also unlocked interior art, which is going to be like chapter art, also by Dennis Calero. It's going to be amazing. This is not going to be sold in stores as far as the signature series, because we are going to have autographed copies. And on top of that, we also have a pile of other things from the other artists or the writers that they have put in. And we're about to unlock another second story by Timothy Zahn. We are literally like a little over $1,000 away. So jump in there right now. Go to greenhornetnoir.com or click the link in the description below and jump in right now while you can, because it's pretty much going to be done. All right, so let's jump into Absolute Wonder Woman number 5. This is the end of the arc by Kelly Thompson. I'm not a huge fan of Kelly Thompson's writing, and though I do like how this ended, because this is the end of the run, or end of the arc, I should say, and now we're going to be continuing another arc, starting on the next one. I'm not sure if I'm going to be continuing it. I'm going to try to get the next issue and see if I like it, but there's a lot of disconnects in her writing. I got all 50 issues of her run with Captain Marvel, and I can tell you that it does this. I mean, she has some really deep valleys and stuff like that with her writing. Some of the stuff is very poor. So I'm going to go into the problems I have with it as we go along, but this is the story of Diana, who is not raised on Themyscira. She's raised in hell instead by Cersei, who is her adoptive mother. She has a variety of different, like, magical items. She has this magical sword that Kelly Thompson obviously likes anime and took this, like, from anime. I think the sword looks stupid for the most part, and then she grew it to the size of a skyscraper and wielded it. So it's got some really stupid shit in here on top of that. And then Steve Trevor showed up on the island. We still don't know why he went to hell, but she knew that he was good enough to get out, but she had to sacrifice something, so she cut off her own arm. No blood or anything like that. She didn't have to worry about stitches. She didn't have to worry about nothing. She just cut her arm off, and that was the end of that. No cauterization, no nothing. Very odd. But anyway, she cut off her own arm, and now she has a magical one, and when the magic disappears, she puts a mechanical one on there. Okay. And that looks really, really stupid, by the way. So again, we have some problems with how this all works. But in here, so she had plenty of time to set up the lasso in all the other 4 issues. She never has. So that made me think that she really didn't have an idea about how she was going to end this until the 4th issue, because there's no reason that she couldn't set up the lasso prior to this issue. But anyway, there's a big kaiju off the coast, and it's attacking with like the siren scream kind of thing. So most of the city here has been evacuated. She makes the sword huge, and she cuts the thing in pretty much in half. But it hasn't slowed it down. It's still kind of wandering around. The sword returns back to its original size, and she grabs it with her magical arm. But then we see missiles come because the Air Force is now getting involved. But I guess it can deflect the missiles so that it heads back to the city. And she's like, oh no, it's going back to the city. We've got to stop it. And she throws, I don't know, magical balls at it. I don't know if they're like, I don't know what the hell that is. Because again, none of that was set up that she has stuff that she can throw. But anyway, she ends up diverting two of them. The third one is going to the city. There's nothing that she can do about it. And I thought we were going to see some destruction. But no, this bone-laden Pegasus breathes fire at it and blows it up. And she's like, oh, thank you, Hecate. Thank you for... Or is it Hecate or Hera? I think it's Hecate. Thank you for helping me. So anyway, she ends up just flying next to the aircraft and says, please, sir, don't do that again. And he's like, okay, ma'am, I will not do that again. So we get a flashback here of Cersei giving her the lasso. And it's a lasso of transmigration, or however you say that, basically transforms things. And so she goes after this creature. She doesn't know why Cersei doesn't understand that it is a cruel weapon. Now, I don't know how a rope can be a cruel weapon, but okay, if that's how you're seeing it that way, okay. So anyway, she basically dismisses Cersei, and saying that she doesn't know if she wants to keep it or whatever. And Hecate says, no, your mother can see the future, and she's trying to protect you, and that's why she gave that thing to you. And now this scene could be now, but I'm just saying that the lasso, which is now green, it was red throughout this entire thing, and now it's green. So I'm very confused by that as well. Why did it suddenly change color? And on top of that, this is how you write. You set up, and then you pay off. But you really can't do it in the same issue, because then it makes it look like it's a magical bag. Whatever the character needs at that exact moment, you're handing it to them. So you're making it very easy for the hero to win by giving them whatever they possibly need to beat whatever it is, whether it's a villain or whatever the obstacle is. All right? Anyway, she says that your mother can see the future, and then Diana says, well, she can only see snippets of the future, so that's not really the same thing. But she says, yes, but just keep in mind that there's a reason behind it. So she goes inside to Cersei and says that she apologizes, but again, now the lasso, which we've always seen it, even the flashbacks, we've seen it as red, and now we see it as green. I'm so confused about that. Why did he make the color change? But she says, now I understand why you gave it to me, and Hecate was right that you did this to protect me. You did see this, and she's going to transform herself because, again, the monster is knitting itself back together, so even the big gash she put in it didn't kill it. So she is going to transform herself into Medusa, and the artist here completely stole that from Clash of the Titans, because that is not how Medusa actually looks. That was a creation by the filmmakers of Clash of the Titans, okay? Because Medusa was not, did not have the body of a snake. She had the hair of the snake, and she was also not that tall. So I don't know where she came up with that. But anyway, because even in Clash of the Titans, she was regular sized. And everybody's going, oh my god, what is going on? She transformed herself. And how is she going to transform back? And blah, blah, blah. But anyway, she goes and stares at it, and she turns it to stone. And it's funny that from Clash of the Titans, everybody uses the body of the snake for that now. Even though that's not how it was in the original writings of Greek mythology. But anyway, he says, I'm going to... They all agree that she's not going to be able to change back by herself because she's forgotten who she is. And Steve Trevor says, I'm going to go out and remind her. He puts a blindfold on, and he starts to talk her down a la Hulk style. The sun's getting real low, Diana. So anyway, she returns herself to normal. They hug, the whole bit. And that's pretty much the end of that, because she goes and gives it a good smack, and it falls into the ocean in pieces, which she probably created a tidal wave that destroyed the city anyway. And anyway, she says she's going to go, and then the earth kind of swallows her up and pulls her down, whatever that hand is, and now she has bigger problems. So overall, I like it. I just thought the writing was lazy, because it just showed me that she really did not set everything up like, as a writer, you should have had all these 5 episodes or all these 5 issues already mapped out, and it's very obvious that she didn't. So anyway, that's it for that. We'll make a good movie. They can't even get the regular Wonder Woman stuff. Wonder Woman has no future in DC at this point, so I have no idea. All right, so let's jump into Green Lantern number 20. The funny thing is, too, I just rewatched the Green Lantern from 2004 or whatever else with Ryan Reynolds. And yeah, it had some good stuff in there, and I think he made a good Green Lantern, or good Hal Jordan. But the plot was just so bad. The writing was just horrible in it. And I think that's where him and Blake Lively met. And I had no problem with Blake Lively as Carol. I mean, I know she's got problems now. I know all these actors are backstabbers, man. So it is what it is. But anyway, I overall, I like the flying effects. I like that. I hated that the suit was computer generated. I think that he should have had a regular suit on with maybe an augmentation of CGI, but not all CGI. That should have been a Sinestro story. That would have made it more interesting. This globular thing, yeah. But again, there are still parts I liked, but overall, the writing is just bad. But anyway, this is about the fracture in the emotional spectrum. The only lantern out there, the only power battery we have is the Will one, which was on Earth, which then got moved back to Oa. But since there's no other power batteries because they were all destroyed, which is a neat idea. Jeremy Adams he's got a good idea. And this, because originally I didn't know how he was making that work, but after I got it, I'm like, it's a very decent idea. And he has this sorrow guy, which is Carol left him at the altar to go back to Hal, so he's like, oh, I'm gonna be sad. The design looks decent, but the fact that he's just a crying, whining guy, I can't get into it, man. But anyway, if he's going to create his own power battery, he's going to fracture it even more. But anyway, anyone that exudes a whole lot of emotion ends up taking on as if they have a ring. Okay, so I'm not sure how that works, but okay, I'll buy it. But anyway, we start out on this planet with this guy that just gets treated like shit. So he's an alien. He makes this sword, which I don't know if I would have used the sword. He's a blacksmith, but from another planet. I don't know. Would they really have the same ores that we have? I don't know. I'm not buying it. His boss doesn't pay him, or whoever his client doesn't pay him for making the sword, and he's just a pushover. And then his wife or his mate, they keep saying mate in this one, not marriage, So, but they're married. But anyway, she's openly tells him that she's going to walk out or step out on him and get another man just for the evening. Don't follow me, kind of thing. But anyway, he goes out and then gets roughed up by these other guys that basically steal his lunch money. And he has his hammer that he uses for his thing. I guess he carries it around that he uses for blacksmith. And then he sees his wife with the other man, and they disrespect him. And he gets all pissed off, and he exudes the Red Lantern abilities, and he's about to throw the hammer at the guy and kill him, or I don't know if kill her at the same time. I guess I don't know. Double homicide, I guess. But anyway, this happens to be where Hal is investigating, and then blocks the hammer, and then we kind of do a flashback of him. That's not a flashback. That's right. The guy disappears to go somewhere, and he kind of tracks him, tranks him down. I don't know how the guy disappeared like that, but he did. But he sees that he basically killed a bunch of people. And he's like, oh man, this is going to be bad. And then we go to the source wall with Kyle and Superboy and Odyssey. I forgot what the girl's name is, the time traveler, which I thought was kind of cool. But again, this takes place during the other book, the Green Lantern Corps. I don't know. I do like that top panel though. I think the chick looks good, even though we're looking at blue hair. But anyway, they realize that they're going to be walking into a whole bunch of traps, and they realize that the one is not an actual biological thing; it's an actual statue. So that's where they're going to go. And then Jeremy just says, screw it, we're just going to go all in with Indiana Jones, where he actually makes Kyle look completely cheesy by giving him the hat and the whip. All right, come on, Jeremy. Come on, man. Too far. Too far, man. He just looks stupid. And I understand giving a nod to something, but literally saying we're stealing it, that's something else. So anyway, Superboy says, all right, I'll just do the traps. And he just walks through them and breaks them all. Why even have the traps if it's going to absolutely do nothing whatsoever? I mean, nothing. And how do the Kryptonian things work? Because I know that he's only half Kryptonian, but he still gets his powers. No, that's right. He has telekinesis. I have to change my my thing on Comic Book Roundup. Yeah, he has telekinesis, so it's not really Kryptonian. So okay, so he has the ability of doing that, even though he's in deep space without the yellow sun. Okay, I stand corrected. But still, why have the traps if you're just gonna walk through them? What? It doesn't make any sense. So anyway, we switch back to Hal, who is continually fighting this guy who has absolutely no training in the ring whatsoever, and is kind of whooping his ass. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I understand the rage thing, but the fact that he's able to do constructs that are just as strong as Hal's doesn't make any sense, considering he has no training in doing that. Although that's why they end up having him go, into training in the beginning. But apparently nobody else does. But anyway, something happens, something explodes, and he bounces away in a ball. And in the next scene, I'm very confused by this. I don't know if he blows up or whatever, the power eats him or whatever, but the hammer turns back to normal, and it looks like the guy's dead. I don't know. He's acting like the guy's dead. But anyway, we get into this thing and to the end of the road here for the dungeon or whatever they're doing, and he goes and grabs the source, and they run out real quick. Again, we have the nod to Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Come on, Jeremy. Come on. And they get out just in time. Everything blows up, and they realize they have the source. Except that Sorrow and this other dude that he's working with says, "Thank you so much for getting it. Now we don't have to do it ourselves." And that's the end of that. So, not a big fan of this issue. I think it was pretty cheesy. It took everything just a little bit too far. It overlapped with Green Lantern Corps just a little bit too much. I was more interested about what Hal was doing, and I was confused about that. And I'm still confused about why the guy was so strong when he's never wielded a ring ever. Would it make a good film or television show? I like the idea of the fractured thing on people of all different planets exhibiting emotion. Of course, that wouldn't work with Vulcans. But I like that idea. I think that idea is good. And I think that would work as a film, as long as Green Lantern was introduced in some way. Wonder Woman, nope. This wouldn't work at all. It would work as animated if they wanted to do like an animated feature that was more for adults. Yeah. Although not this storyline. The storyline with the kaiju is not compelling. She needs something more personal, which we haven't seen yet. And I don't think the next one's going to be personal either. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. And if you can, subscribe. You'll get notified about when I do movie, television, and comic book reviews. I do something every day, whatever it is. And, yeah, remember, too, that Green Hornet is in its final hours. Jump on that right now if you can. Timothy Zahn, Kevin J. Anderson, Bill Willingham. Cover art by both Matt Wagner and Dennis Calero. And interior art, because we have chapter art by Dennis Calero as well. It's going to be awesome. We do have signed copies that are not going to be sold anywhere. Click the link in the description below or to go to greenhornetnoir.com. All right, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching.